A lot of people believe that if you're in your 20s or 30s, still shy and lonely, that it's too late. I was one of them, but that couldn't be further from the truth. And in this video, I will show you why that is wrong and what you should do instead and how you can fix it. The first one is about identity. I was 22 years old. I went to a company event, the room full of people that I know. I looked around me. Everyone was having fun. Everyone was having a conversation, talking with each other and just laughing. I felt nervous. Even though the room is full of people that I know, I've known for years, I still felt nervous. Why? Because I believed, firmly believed, that that is not how I am. I am someone who's introverted. I am someone who's not good at speaking with lots of people, at being open. I'm an introvert. These limiting beliefs were holding me back. It was literally an event with people that I've known for years, and my firm belief that I just am not that way held me back. These beliefs stuck with me for almost a decade. They made me believe that this is just how it's supposed to be. This is how I am. That it's too late. This is basically what you start to believe when you form an identity based on what's been happening before. But it was when I realized that I can actually change. It took one moment for me to understand that you can change no matter your age. I'm 31 years old now. I have changed. After a decade of being lonely, shy, I've changed completely. The people that I get to know these days, they don't believe me. They can't imagine the the person that I was. The Kerim that used to be so shy, he couldn't even speak up to anyone. Speaking to girls felt impossible. If you know how that feels, you know the struggle. You can change. Forming a new identity and getting rid of the old one isn't something that happens overnight. It took me years, and I'm still getting rid of some of the remainders of my identity. There still is that shy Kerim that exists, and it probably will exist for maybe forever. But it doesn't matter because you can form a new identity. And hey, if you're someone who is struggling with social confidence and feels lonely, I feel you, which is why I've opened up 5 free spots in my coaching. No sales, no nothing. It's all about me wanting to help some of the men these days struggling. Book yourself your spot. Top link in the description below. Hope to see you there. I was stuck in video game addiction for ever since I can remember. I started when I was 10 years old and I was still playing video games when I was 24, 25. Even a few years ago, I was at times still struggling with it. I never gave up. No matter how many times I fell and failed, I never gave up. And this is probably, if I could point a single reason as to why I am the way I am, why I have friends now, a best friend, a relationship, I can promise you is this. If you can take one thing from this video, it's that you should not give up. You will fall and fail many times. I'm still failing these days. I sometimes think back at the times where I was playing video games for over 10 hours a day. Sure, I had online friends, but that never kept me away from crying myself to sleep out of sheer loneliness, out of overstimulation, out of feeling like my life has zero meaning. If I accepted that, gave up after trying for once, my life wouldn't be the way it is now. My life's so much better now. And to anyone who's anywhere close to how I was living back then, feeling how I was feeling back then, don't give up. Stop telling yourself such stupid things that it's too late because of some age, that it's too late to find a relationship because you're already over 25. My family kept on telling me that it's slowly getting late. I was telling myself that it's slowly getting late for a relationship because I'm 30. For a Turkish person, that is very unusual. It doesn't matter. Now I am in a relationship. If I just gave up, I would still be alone. If you give up, that's when you lose. So freaking don't give up. Keep trying. It's nothing that will kill you, so you can try again. It's just like in a video game. You can respawn, and you can respawn as many times as you want. What's important is that you need to remember to start small. You shouldn't expect, which was my mistake, to just all of a sudden be a superhero. Just because I want to change my identity and believe that I'm a confident person now doesn't mean and didn't mean that I just go out there and have amazing conversations. I sucked. Like literally, I sucked. I approached people on the streets to try to form a new identity of being that very open person. It went wrong very often. I had some very awkward situations where I said hello to someone, asked them how they are, and then didn't know what to say. That awkward silence, looking at each other, the person wondering why I even did that. And it's not always what you say, but also how you say it. Fact is, nothing happened. Nothing bad happened. The thing that did happen, however, is that it spurred and sparked something inside of me that even when things go wrong, it's still fine. And it showed me that I can actually be someone else, change my identity. But there was one important lesson that I had to learn the hard way, which is that even though your brain will tell you that this isn't me and this doesn't feel like me, it's a lie. That is your old identity speaking. Building a new one is gonna give you that signal, and it did for me. I felt like I'm faking myself. The term fake it till you make it. It's somewhat true, but if you can act that way, then you can become to be natural in that way. It felt unnatural at first to be open with people. Now it is absolutely natural. I'm in sales. I have a lot of friends. I can approach strangers like it's nothing. If I see someone in the elevator, I'm just gonna look if they have something interesting going on. Maybe it's their shoes. Maybe two people having a conversation in the elevator just a week ago, having a normal conversation, and I was listening by. I made a comment based on what they said. They said something funny, and I made a joke based on it. They laughed, and we got to know each other a little. If I ever see them again, we will have an easier time to maybe even become friends or at least colleagues. You can change your identity. It starts out hard. It feels like it isn't like you, but you need to believe in it. Believe in the process that you can change no matter your age. Even with 31 now, I'm still changing a lot of things about myself. In these times, the average lifespan is increasing. If you're 20 or 30 like I am, you're probably only halfway there, maybe one third, and that's if you're only going to be 60. Why would you believe that it's too late. You're maybe halfway, maybe one third. Let's say it is halfway. Why the hell would you ever want to live the rest of your life, which is another half of what you've lived, the way that you don't want to? To be stuck with that identity that you hate. I hated my identity. I hated to be shy. I hated to be lonely. I still do. Nobody likes that. Who the hell likes to be lonely? You can change your identity. We are very susceptible to negativity. When I was in my down phase in my 20s, I felt extremely lonely. I had no friends. I even had birthdays where not a single person would remember me and greet me for my birthday. This only leads you to feel hopeless. This will only increase the feeling that you have. When we feel negative, we feel like there's no hope, that things can't change. But that is a trap that you need to get out of, a trap that I got out of by actually going outside of the circumstances that kept me in the negativity loop, be it in my room, in front of my computer, being alone inside of my room. You don't need to have friends to get out of this hellhole. Where I started, it was to go outside in the first place. Whether it was in nature, to go to a park where a lot of people are. I went somewhere where I'm not stuck in my room with my own thoughts that are full of negativity, no hope to be had. It's about going out to be where people are. Whether they know you or not doesn't matter. You need to break that cycle. Go out, recover from it, get some fresh air, some sunlight. It will help you to start to get out of that negative cycle. Give your brain a chance to recover, to get some normal positive thoughts, to not just spiral down this stupid thought loop. Try to go out, be with people, be outside. Being outside gives you the chance for things for you to happen. You're not gonna get to know people or change who you are, no matter your age. If you're in your room watching Netflix or playing video games 24/7 like I did, my life has stayed the same as I kept doing these things. But they have changed. Ever since I've stopped, I've completely eliminated video games from my life. I don't play them anymore. They only do and did me harm. And they probably do the same for you. Set your expectations right. I was struggling and suffering for years at first. But when I realized that I just am not going to be Giga Chad anytime soon, that my expectation is way too far from where I am right now, is when I started to feel like the progress is easier to be had. You can have that dream to become that person, but you're way too far away. You right now are nowhere close. I was so shy I couldn't speak to anyone. So, what was I thinking? That I'm just going to be Giga Chad tomorrow because now I'm trying to change myself. Now I'm working on my confidence. I was down low. I was at the lowest low that confidence could have. So, when I set my expectations right, that I'm going to be a little bit better than I was yesterday, that I'm going to be okay to say hello to strangers, which was hard to do before. Doing that is an easier step then being okay to cold approach strangers, let alone girls, way too much of a task, way too dreadful. The only thing that happened when I did that is that I went right back onto Overwatch to play, because that was my coping mechanism. But wanting to be socially confident so you can finally stop being lonely is only the first step of many. And there were some key aspects that I had to learn that finally speeded up my progress, that allowed me to finally find some friends. And I teach you those inside of this video, so you should definitely check that out.